Let me ask you this question. Are you passionate about what you do? Are you passionate about your job, about your family, about yourself and how you carry things? Does it matter to you that you're doing it right, that you're doing it well, you're doing it on purpose? We're going to talk about how much that matters, especially as a salesperson. We're going to talk about it with John Zielinski next on Purpose Under Pressure. Well, welcome back. My name's Brian, and this is Purpose Under Pressure. It's a podcast about developing sales and leadership success. Don't we all need to do that on purpose and under pressure? It's brought to you by the professional sales and leadership training team at Sandler by the Ruby Group. You'll find them in Akron and Columbus, Ohio. They're in Jacksonville, Florida. They're in Capital Region, New York. They do their work on purpose so that you and your team can represent yourselves that way. Be different. Be unique. Be who you are, not who your salespeople just came to you as. Let's train. Let's be professionals. Let's do things the right way, the way you want to be seen and viewed and understood by others. It's on purpose. It just doesn't just happen. And the best way to do that, I think, is to talk with the sales training team at Sandler by the Ruby Group. You can connect with them online at therubygroup.sandler.com. The Ruby Group, where sales, leadership, and purpose come together. So let's get cooking. This is one of the cool things I like about doing this show. There's many, many, many cool things I like about doing this show, but one of them is to meet people that I otherwise would not have met. I've got 220 some episodes of these kind of interview shows under my belt, and I've met some of the coolest people, and some people I just get along with really well. I've been a salesperson for like 36 years or something like that, and I love other sellers. And when we get to talking shop, I think it's kind of fun. I think you're going to know what I mean here in a minute when you meet John Zielinski. He's the president and CEO at Universal Polymer and Rubber. I'm excited for you to say hi to John. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Brian. What a wonderful lead in. And yeah, I couldn't agree more as far as the Sandler by the Ruby Group. I'm an avid supporter of theirs. I've been trained by them and still under their training. It's been over 10 years. And I'm not going to, I'm just truly thankful for having gone through the Sandler program, especially under Mike Jones, Ken Guest, Jordan Muller, all that group in the Ruby Group. What wonderful people. Thank you.
And I'm glad you're here. I wasn't going to ask this question. It's not part of the script, but you just made me think of something. You've been at sales for a long time. You've been at Sandler under their influence for 10 years. What's the biggest difference you can tell between the way you used to do it and the way you do it now?
Oh my gosh. That's wonderful. I'll never forget our initial trainer said, don't forget the tools that enabled you to fly the plane. We're just helping you to augment those tools. And I thought, yeah, right. I mean, they hooked me with a negative reverse where they said, yeah, you're really good at what you do. You probably wouldn't even be interested in training. The crazy thing is, I love personal improvement. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I can help myself. So I think what helped me the most, the first aha moment I had was when we were talking about nurturing and being respectful. And because I am so competitive that pre-Sandler and in my younger days, I would literally
Just
close the
charge
file.
right through.
Yeah, close the file in a non-nurturing way. And that file was closed forever. And I didn't care because I was so good. I was going to go find another customer.
Yeah. If someone said no, you're like, no, don't worry. And away you go. Yeah.
Right, right. And then I went through this role play and the trainer said, well, that's good. You closed the file, but what about this? And it was just like, yeah, really. And so once you get that aha moment, for me in a training, you tend to listen a lot more intently and intentionally. And I did. Then I started practicing the Sandler methodology along with my own innate instincts and God-given abilities. And it's just amazing, the results. I mean, I had on my own an objective, what we now call behaviors, or what is known as behaviors, a tracking mechanism set up. I mean, I remember one company I was at, the head of ops called it cave art because I had all my sales metrics on the wall at just poster board. This was, it was just the way I did it. But yeah, the Sandler folks, Another aha moment was the upfront contract.
Oh man, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was the upfront contract. And then the third was, we quote a lot of jobs. We're a contract manufacturer. And the quote is like, it's the third step or fourth step in our sales pipeline. And then we have a yes or no after we do the quote. But
Hmm.
they said, well, are you chasing people after the quote? Or we had a discussion about that. Once you send the quote, the prospect has all they need. Well, we put in from that day forward a mandate. We don't send any quotes unless we have a time and date, a clear future on each other's calendars.
Hmm.
So that way we can benchmark the quote. The quote doesn't even get sent. And we had some salespeople on our team that almost became apoplectic, just like, I can't do that. I got to send the quote. And
Yeah.
the results we had, our success rate went up. We
Yeah.
disqualified better.
Yeah.
And we decided not to quote on some people simply because we wouldn't get that clear future for feedback.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for asking that, because I've recommended Sandler to, especially the Ruby group, not just Sandler, but the Mike Jones, Ken Guest, Jordan Mullet, that team, uh, Robert Perry. I mean, those guys are just good. I mean, they got newer guys that I don't know as well, Doug Whittington and the gang, but
Sure.
they're good people. They're knowledgeable. Yeah.
And and we'll stop talking about Sandler here because I don't
Sure,
want this
sure,
to be a
sure.
commercial. I want to talk to you, but I think the thing that I resonate with what you said and that I've always said is that I think Sandler, it makes you a better salesperson, but it makes you a better person, which isn't that what a salesperson is supposed to be. We're supposed to want to help people. We're supposed to want to succeed, but we're not at all purpose, close the sale. Here's a technique. Here's a trick. Here's a spin. No, just do things right. Treat people right. Treat yourself right. Handle business properly, and the success is gonna follow. And I remember the first time I was in one of their boot camps, and I came home. I said, "Honey, I think this is gonna help our marriage, our family. I think this is just teaching me to be a better person." Did you feel the same way?
Yes, yes, I
Yeah,
really did.
yeah,
The suggestion, or the not the but asking questions.
yeah, yeah,
No mutual mystification. I thrive on that,
yeah.
especially. And now I have grandkids, but oldest grandson's a junior in high school, and he talks to me a lot, like, Grandpa Z, da da da. I said, hey, Tristan, what do you mean by that? Can you
See
explain? And then ask him a few questions, and then by asking those questions, I have a better feel how he's feeling.
how to help? Yeah, exactly right. I love
Yes.
that. Hey, John, tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me a little bit about Universal Polymer and Rubber. Kind of what's going good in life. Let's brag a little bit because you've earned a lot of success and you've got a great team. And I want you to talk about things a little bit.
Oh my gosh, we have a great team, and I could
Yeah.
talk about. I mean, we only have a half hour for the podcast. I could talk about the team for 48 minutes. Even though we only have 30. But thanks
Yeah.
for that offer. UPNR, we've been lucky, and I know luck is the opportunity meets hard work, but we really have been lucky. We're attacking various verticals, but we hooked on with a company that makes cooling systems for data centers. And so we are extremely busy. I mean, for many times in my lengthy career in sales, I've always been in manufacturing, and our companies have always looked for new orders, and hey, we need more business to fill out the month. Now our issue is we got to figure out how to get all these orders out the door in a given
Yep.
time period, which is,
Yep.
it's a wonderful problem to have, but it still causes some sleepless nights. So we're doing okay. Again, we have such a good team. Our team has bought into the idea of continuous improvement, Kaizen, where we're always looking for ways to get better, whether it's reducing our collection period, days sales outstanding, from, say, 47 down to 46. It's these little, Kaizen is change for good, and it's little improvements that you make on a daily or weekly or monthly basis that when you look back over 5 years, you said, wow, those little things added up.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, we're doing okay. And thank you so much. Appreciate the question.
Yeah, I'm glad you're doing okay, and I'm interested in this. You and I talked a little bit about differentiating yourself so that you could, make new opportunities and create new relationships, and that's what salespeople do. You're in a unique spot now where you've got almost more business than you can handle. And yet the pipeline is never full. And for a salesperson, it's never full enough. How do you justify, how do you manage a full pipeline and yet still do the prospecting that needs to be done? And after that, I want to talk more about prospecting techniques, but how do you juggle that when you've got too much, but you can never have enough?
Right. Because as a contract manufacturer, imagine a bucket or a pail as as there's always jobs like we're in the automotive supply chain. Parts go out, models go out of production, trim levels go out of production. You're losing those parts. You always have to be putting new business at the top of the pail to fill in. You could have a customer go out of business. It's a highly competitive market. We could lose business to a competitor that goes out the bottom of the bucket. So there is tremendous incentive, even though right now we're blessed with a lot of business. I meet with our director of sales every week. We go over pipelines. We'll go over the size of the pipeline, what I call the reality, the realness of the pipeline, and the dollar value of the pipeline. Because those three metrics to me are what's meaningful. The size, you got to have a big enough pipeline to support an X million dollar entity that wants to get to X plus so much entity. So there's that. What I call the realness. Okay, don't put Ford Motor in because we're not going to sell the Ford Motor. Yeah, they use a lot of rubber parts, but that's not real. So that's the realness check. And then the dollar amount. You could have a bunch of customers or names in there, but if it only adds up to maybe $200,000 possible and we have a 10% quote success rate, you're probably not going to generate enough revenue to justify that investment the company's making in people. So that's where those three levels, as we say, the three lenses of that pipeline are meaningful to me.
Mm-hmm. And how does a salesperson, how do you manage a salesperson, help lead a salesperson when the pipeline's full, the jobs are full, the pipeline's never full enough? Salespeople will always go the path of least resistance. They
Yes.
always will. They'll sell more to their current, nothing wrong with that. But
No.
how do you keep them in front of new people, keep them motivated in front of new people? What are some tricks maybe that you've learned over the years to kind of keep people going towards that next dream account?
It's really just a question and answer. And I will say I've gotten a lot better at honing my questioning skills after the 10, 12 years through the Sandler methodology from the boys on Ruby. But it's really questioning. Hey, I see you've got this pipe. I see you keep calling on current customer A. What are you trying to get out of current customer A? Because you're spending about 8% of your week on one customer. There's 92% you can devote to all these other customers, so we can get business on this machine or this machine or this work center. So it's more of respectfully and nurturingly bringing it to their attention, because sometimes salespeople, just as you say, they subconsciously or unconsciously gravitate towards that easier sell. And you have to sort of, just like a trusted advisor, walk alongside them and say, hey, why don't you look at this opportunity here? Or why don't you look at that market there? So that's how it's a gentle steering. And again, just like most people, I'll tell you, Brian, those salespeople, they get it. And then they say, I got you, John. I got you, Z.
I know I was doing that.
Yeah,
I remember many times realizing that I was gravitating towards the easy way. And I say that lovingly. And I think it's because sales is so hard. You hear no so much. And even though you're trained for it and it's still rejection, it's still personal. And when you get somebody nodding their head, I want to hang out with that guy.
Oh yeah. I have to. This is a great, quick 30-second story. Doing a year-end review for a person totally uninvolved with sales, longtime veteran, knows pretty much the whole business. And I say, hey, dude, you could help in a lot of different ways. Did you ever think about anything else? You've got so much knowledge in your head. Oh yeah, I could do any job at the company. I said, could you sell? We're always looking for good salespeople because we want to grow. Oh yeah, I could sell. And I sort of looked down and I looked him back in the eye and I said, let me ask you a question. You probably could sell, but could your entire job existence rely on the fact if you had more wins than losses in sales? And he looked at me he almost went pale. He said,
Oh
"No, Z,
yeah,
I couldn't do that."
not
I
everybody
said,
can.
"That's the difference. Everyone sees salespeople. They see the fun part of the job. They don't see the sleepless nights. They don't
Mm.
see the 8-hour drives, 4-hour up and 4-hour back in a big circle around. They don't see all that. They don't see driving in off the road and going right to your kid's practice to help out. No one sees that because they see, oh, that guy's making a lot of money. He dresses nice, or she dresses nice, or she's this. There might be that aspect, but there's a lot of hard work. Vince Lombardi once said, the only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary. So, you know, that
That's smart.
is, and I
Smart.
actually have it on my whiteboards in both offices. So, yeah,
I like
it's,
that. I've done some speaking engagements about sales to the sales team or sales class at Ashland University here, kind of in our
oh,
backyard.
great.
And I say, why do you want to be in sales? And every single one of them, I want to make money. I want to make money. Okay, but there's more to it than
Yeah,
that, and not every salesperson does. John, I want to get back to the idea of getting in
sure.
front of people and not giving up. You shared a story with me before when we were kind of talking and getting to know each other about some times that you've worked really hard to get in front of a customer, and we as salespeople, we we call and maybe we call again and maybe we call again, but we don't want to bother people. We don't want to hear no again. We just move on. And yet you've had some success by not just moving on and trying some different things. I wonder if you can share some of that with us.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. There's one. It was an automotive account, and they made pedal systems where your brake pedal, where you step on it to actuate the brakes, and those things have a rubber pad on it. Well, this company, a global tier one, multi-billion-dollar company, I actually reverse engineered. I knew they had the pedal system for then the Pontiac W car, Pontiac 6000, among others, and I went to a GM dealership, bought the pedal pad, had it quoted, had samples made, and I started calling the buyer. And I called once, twice, I won't get into everything, and changed the voicemail message each time. I couldn't find her, Marcia Elston was her name. I couldn't find her email, so I kept calling. And over 4 months, I called 37 times. And
37
and
calls.
yes, and I changed the voice message each time to not sound desperate. And this is pre-Sandler, so it was. But I changed it, and finally, I knew a rep that she knew very well, and so I said, it was basically like, "Hey, Marcia, I won't bother you again. All I ask is that you talk to so and so. I know you know him. You've done a lot of business with him. He can, and if he tells you honestly that I'm a jerk or I'm not worth your time,
Mm-hmm.
no problem. But if he does say something, I'm going to call you back in a week and either pick up or send me a message. I'll leave you my email." And I already had, but I said, "I'll leave you my email."
Yeah.
Brian, I called that next week. She picked up. We
Yeah.
got that pedal pad, and in about 18 months, we were doing about $1.5 million with that company.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was you can't make this stuff up. You really can't.
What caused you to dial that 37th time? Most salespeople will quit after 3 or 4 or 5. Now we've got systems, right, that remind us when to call, but even that, it's like 7. We don't have a chain built out for 37. Was it the fact that you just knew you could help this customer? Was it the fact that I'm just not going to lose? We salespeople can be egos a little bit. I'm just going to win this no matter what. What kept you going past that 36th call?
Everyone in the organization needs to know how to sell. Sales is the strength of any company. Whether or not you're in marketing, operations, or even finance, everyone has a strong shared accountability towards driving top-line revenue. Whether or not you're client-facing or talking over the phone, you're able to build a stronger level of rapport with the clients. Everyone in the organization shares that responsibility to know how to sell.
I'm just going to win this no matter what. What kept you going past that 36th call?
It was probably about 70%. I know I can help it because I know the market.
Yeah.
And 30%, by golly, I know how hard I am not going to lose. I'm not going to lose. Like when you
Yeah.
dive on the court for a loose ball, that's that hunger there. But it was knowing the market and knowing that we could be competitive and help them out from a cost saving standpoint. But at the same time, yeah, I'm not going to lose.
I don't know if this question means anything or not. How many calls would you have made? Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah,
When would you have quit?
I probably would have quit if I knew they bought something. I would have never quit. I wouldn't have called
See?
so frequently over 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
But I would have left a message like, "Hey, I'm. This is my verbiage after Sandler. Pre-Sandler, I probably would have said, "Hey, I know you're not taking my call. I'm going to call you back. I'll probably call back in 3 months or something."
Yeah.
But now after Sandler, you're like, "Hey, probably real busy. Tell you what, I'm going to pick a number between 3 and 9, and I'll pick 6. I'll call you back in 6 months, and let's see if we can help you then. We've helped other people in your industry, as I've said, but I don't want to be a pest." And then I put a note on the calendar, called them in 6 months, and see what happens.
And so nowadays, and all that was before Sandler, and of course before AI. Nowadays, everything's changed. No one answers their phone even anymore, no matter how many calls you make, right? No one listens to the voicemail, no matter how many calls you make. The emails are all AI. You just know they are. How do you train your salespeople? How do you train your team to overcome some of those crutches, maybe, that they might want to take advantage of? Because they can be helpful, but it's not like calling somebody 30. I mean, it's not like it used to be. How do you help them?
That's awesome. Thank you. It's like a softball, lobbying.
Go.
But
hit it hard.
Really, there's a combination. What I've learned, because I listen to our younger salespeople, and they're like, "Z, you can't be like you were. That's, maybe you were successful, but that was 40 years ago." And I'm like, well, that the stubbornness in me. But then I do use AI, but I tell them, use your tools, whether it's AI. Don't use carte blanche those tools. Don't put full confidence that just one tool is going to work. Use the phone, use email, use LinkedIn, use texting if you have use videos, use snail mail. You'd be surprised at how infrequently people get snail mail, and hand address the envelope. It's amazing. They might get it across their desk like, "What the heck? This is a letter from someone? I might open it." And I got to tell this story. Do I have time?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Okay, great. So it's a snail mail story. So in about 2018, our company makes tarp straps. They tie down, they're rubber straps. They tie down tarpaulins. Anyway, all mass merchandisers sell them, although they sell a much inferior quality brand. And Walmart was one of them. And Walmart, about 7-8 years ago, was putting on a big Made in USA initiative. And so I caught wind of it late, registered our company, or I tried to, and they said, "Oh, you're late." I said, "Well, the conference isn't for 2 months. Why am I late?" And they said, "Well, we can't do this." And I talked to someone, and this person was very helpful. And I can't remember the gentleman's name, but anyway. So I really got frustrated because they're telling me, even though I'm a U.S. manufacturer of a product they put on their shelves, and I can make a superior product, maybe not at the same price, but a superior product, they don't want to talk to me? Come on, man. So I got really upset, and I wrote, and I found out who the CEO was, because I really didn't know before. It was Doug McMillan, who just retired a few months ago.
Okay.
I wrote about a 4-page typed letter, and I cited Wall Street Journal articles on how Walmart's Made in USA deal was a sham, and Forbes magazine quotes. And
Oh, you called him out on it.
Oh yeah. And it was one of those where Herm Edwards says, "Read your text or your post 3 times before you hit send." I read that letter about 8 times before so I folded it up, put it in a snail mail, hand wrote the address, and on the envelope, I hand wrote Made in USA in each of the 4 quadrants of the facing letter. And then I put Made in USA stickers on the letter. Sounds hokey. I agree. Mailed it off. And you know what? I was like, I felt so much better. It was so cathartic to do that. I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah.
Didn't even think another thing of it. About 2 months later, maybe not that long, 6 weeks later, I'm at a corporate managers meeting and we're coming back from a function. It's like 5:30 at night. My phone's blowing up and I'm looking, it's like Bentonville, Arkansas. Oh my gosh. So I pick it up. Hello, John. This is so-and-so, vice president of the automotive department at Walmart stores. Understand that you sent a letter to our chairman, Doug McMillan, our president, Doug McMillan. I said, yeah, I did. He said, well, would you like to come down and meet with us? I said, when and where?
Wow.
And so it was, and we did. We got it to the point where we had an agreed upon, not a contract, but there was an agreement, but I don't know retail marketing. I'm a manufacturing marketer. Retail marketing for manufacturers is a whole different, there's different discount structures. Anyway, I didn't know all their discount structure. So I told them, I said, I have to rescind my quote because I'm just used to selling to a manufacturer. I apologize. And they were understanding, good people.
Yeah.
They at first they were a little in awe, like they thought I actually knew Doug McMillan, which I didn't. I don't. I've since I had his email and I thanked him and his company for the opportunity. They were treated me very fairly, very professionally. So it was just a great experience all around.
Yeah. And you took the extra step and you did it because you were passionate. You're a passionate person. How important is it for a salesperson to be passionate about sales, about their product, about their customer? Share a little bit of that with me.
Oh, it's huge. It is huge because
is.
when you walk in to meet with someone, they don't know you from the man in the moon. I have a gift. I'm 6'8", so it's kind of a conversation piece. But if I come in looking like Lurch or Herman Munster at 6'8", shoulders slumped, you're going to be like, wow, what's wrong with this guy? But you come in and you're have a added, full of energy and you're upbeat and you listen, and it's just like, wow, this person has energy. I want to buy from them, or at least I want to give them a chance.
This person
That's
cares.
so huge in people to show enthusiasm, to show energy, not false. Don't just say, hey, I'm just wonderful. I just had 3 accidents on the way here, but I'm still great. No, it's that genuine energy, that genuine passion where people can see that you care not only about this particular sale, but you're going to care about taking care of me as a customer.
Yep.
If we do indeed do business.
Yeah. You take it personal. And I just think it's, that's what makes selling so great. I always, people go sales. Oh, you're in sales. You don't get it unless you just really want to help people. It's the greatest profession in the world because you can go seek people that need help. They don't even know they need help. Yeah. And you can actually help them and you feel great about it. I want to ask, as we move, towards the end of this, which I don't want it to end, but tell me a little bit about what you see on the horizon, the pressures that are mounting either in your industry, for salespeople, for yourself. Like where are the hurdles you're going to have to jump over to get things across to the other side?
I definitely think the use of AI has to be somehow inculcated into our business. I don't know how yet. We have one project that we have our estimator that's retiring, and we're going to take our 40 years of manufacturing knowledge and use a AI custom-made program to do our estimations.
Okay.
And that's one. I think we can utilize AI to do more data crunching. We're using it to do our cash collection models based on anticipate our day sales outstanding, a lot of things. But I think AI is one. I think the continued consolidation of rubber parts manufacturers, specific to my industry, or smaller contract manufacturers. There's been a large private equity group impetus of buying up companies over the last post-COVID, if you will. And so I think that trend is going to continue because some of these PE groups are seeing that it doesn't make sense to just buy a rubber parts manufacturer in New England. when you can buy one in New England, one in the Midwest, one in the plains, and possibly one in the Mid-South. And then you have a real conglomerate, a real juggernaut where you can supply regionally, but think globally. And so that trend, I think, is going to continue. I think the constant pressure to have your quality levels. I mean, it used to be parts per million, which is a reject level of 100 was world class. Then it was 50. Now it's 5. And we're judged on a parts per million of 5 and with our automotive. Like anything over 5, we get a negative rating. So the constant pressure to keep quality, the consistency. I think the pressure to scale your business without adding headcount is going to be tremendous to people. And you could use AI on something, but still AI is, I don't want to say infancy because there's a lot of people that are much more advanced than I am.
Yeah.
But we have to figure out how it can help us. And just as Sandler says, that trusted advisor to walk side by side, that's what our goal is, to find that balance between AI. The way I talk to our team, we're the judges of the case. We want AI to be the jury, the attorneys, the bailiff, the court reporter, but we're the judges. We're going to make the decisions.
We're going to make the decisions.
Yeah. So those are some of the things I see. Just and just a relentless progression on continuous improvement. You have to have that mindset.
And I love that I asked you that question and you gave me like 17 things. And I think that makes sense. That's because you see a big picture in front of you and you're always trying to overcome those hurdles. And so I'll ask this final question. If you are able to, and I know you have to, like you go home tonight and you're going to go to sleep and everything, you're starting in tomorrow. If you boil all that pressure into one bag, how does John Zielinski attack every day so that you have the ability to overcome those pressures?
I actually have asked myself, I don't compete with our 30 competitors in Northeast Ohio. I compete with myself.
Yeah,
so what I do on the way to work, can I be better? Like tomorrow, I'm going to say, can I be better than I was Thursday, April 23rd? Can I do a little bit more? Can I figure something out? Maybe I can figure out that 2 + 2 is 4, and I couldn't figure that out on
instead
Thursday.
of 5, right? Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And I know that's a joke, but that's what I'm saying. These little, I talk about Kaizen, not to throw out a buzzword. I live by it. These small improvements every day. How can I be better? And our team knows that. They know. And I ask them, how can we as a team be better than we were yesterday? And I want to tell this story, and we're probably out of time, but
we've got time. Go ahead.
Okay. So I told about this new chunk of business that we got in, and it was literally out of the blue. December 16th, customer says, hey, we want to talk about forecast. We have the meeting. I say, oh, by the way, we're going to double our business. And they were already our biggest customer. It's like, oh, when's that start? Well, it's already started. So anyway, all hands on deck, got with our suppliers, got with our manufacturing team within the 6 hours of real time after that meeting. We had all these meetings. About 2 weeks later, our manufacturing department responsible for that, generating the bulk material, says, if we do this, we can double the output and eliminate overtime. I'm like, yes, this is that mentality that we've been preaching, and they did it. And after about 2 months of trials and R&D, we've now reduced overtime. We've doubled the throughput of that work center, and we now have bulk feeding our secondary ops, which we need to go out the door. It's a beautiful thing and I didn't initiate anything. This is our team coming up with it by themselves.
Yes. I love it. I love that's the other thing I love about leadership. True leadership is you don't put it on your own shoulders. Your team does it, but I want you to remember, a great team has a great leader. And it's important that you own up to that and realize, okay, I'm doing something right because they're doing something great. And I think that's good. And I appreciate those efforts, and I'm glad you're doing it.
Thank you. I think our team would be pretty darn good without me, but thank you.
Yeah, I
know they would,
but I think they'd miss you a lot. At least that's for sure. Hey, John, how do people learn more about Universal Polymers and Rubber? How do they learn more about you? If they want to talk to you for a referral about Sandler or who knows what, how would they reach out to you?
You can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can email me, Zielinski J. You can see my last name here. It's my last name with my first initial at universalpolymer.com. To learn more about our company, you could do one of two things. One, you could go to our website, universalpolymer.com, and I'm very proud of it because it was just recently redone.
Good.
So it's very modern. And if you want to get more information or talk to someone, first you could talk to me, but you could also send an email to our info email box, info@universalpolymer.com. So there's quite a few ways. Our the old fashioned way, the website has our phone number. But yeah, it's and if I do send you an email and respond, I mean, if you send it to me, I'll definitely respond. My signature has all my contact information. It's got my mobile number, everything. So yeah, I'd be happy to talk.
Awesome.
Especially anyone who who wants to get some insight on Sandler. If you're not sure, you might have heard about it. I guarantee you, I'm going to be a positive referral, but I'm going to be honest as well.
Yeah. I'm so glad that you were part of the show. John Zielinski, President and CEO at Universal Polymer and Rubber. John, thank you for being our guest on Preppers Under Pressure.
Oh, I'm honored to be here. Thank you very much, Brian. I appreciate the invite, and thanks, everybody.
It's a real pleasure to have you here, folks. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed this show. I sure did. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We do this every week, sometimes multiple times. So go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss another show. Tell a friend, too, about this show. I want them to be on purpose, too. You'll find all past episodes of Purpose Under Pressure at brianmediastrategies.com/podcast and wherever you stream your favorite shows. It's brought to you by the Ruby Group, where sales, leadership, and purpose come together. Until next time, no matter how high the pressure gets, stay on purpose.